Hey, you're right, Andy.
All right, Si, how are you?
Very good, thank you, my man. Very good.
Listen, I've something to tell you.
Yeah, what's up?
The footy's on.
Oh yes, let's get into it. Oh yes! Good man. Alrighty, so this is a football show with all the banter. We're not just going to focus on Liverpool. We're going to focus on all football teams worldwide. But the latest news, the most shocking news, is obviously how shite Liverpool have been in the last few weeks, right?
My God. Like, I'm so confused. I'm
Mm,
so confused as to the way we just keep sending out the same team, the same kind of performance, the
yeah.
same nothingness. And yeah, it's very confusing.
I know. Let's go into Arne Slot, the man himself, right? So in the press conferences, he exudes confidence, especially when we're winning, right? He tells the formation, he tells our flaws, what went right, what went wrong, right? And many people having a go saying that he's telling teams how to batter us, long ball physicality. Like other teams must be like, wait a minute, he plays the same team week in week out, same strategy. Let's just kick the shit out of Liverpool on the
Yeah.
pitch.
He's basically, because what happened was last season he would come out and then it would be well, we noticed the gaps here, so we'd make sure we'd load up on there, and like
Yeah.
you could just picture all the other teams like, okay, well, we'll get you next year. But like there's a couple of things with him. So there's obviously his tactics, and
Mm.
whether or not people have copped on to his tactics, but it's also his, like, he's not shy about blasting players in the in
Singling them out.
in interviews and stuff like that. And that's great when you're like winning, and players are like, yeah, you know what, Stern before. Whereas
Mm.
now it's kind of a bit like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same. I don't know if some of the players might be, I don't know,
It's
but
strange.
it's
It's strange, isn't it? Like he
mm,
absolutely crushed the hopes and dreams of Jarrell Quansah in like the very first match when he arrived, actually his first official match, right? And then ever since then, he's like, I know who plays and I know who sits on the bench. You're a bench player. When I need you, you come on for 5 minutes, but that's
that's
that.
it. But
Yeah.
that's even that is a bit like that was a big statement when he came in
Mm.
last year, and it was like really marking his territory and just saying, you know what, I don't care how long you've all been here. I know I'm only here. Kwanzaa, you're not good enough. Keep the bench. And how ironic that we would absolutely love to have him now
Oh
as an
yeah, yeah.
option. But yeah, he doesn't seem to do that as much anymore. Like
Mm.
that's the thing I've noticed with him, is that he I think he was a bit more ruthless last year in terms of his subs, and if someone's not performing, regardless of the name, you're kind of getting
Mm.
hooked anyway. Whereas I don't see that as much this year.
Could it be that he is fearful because like Kwanzaa is a youth player, Endo's like an older player on the fringes, Chiesa's like an older player who had the injury and he can excuse himself, and same as Gomez, for dropping them, but he can't afford to drop like Salah or Gakpo
Yeah,
or the bigger names, and he doesn't.
but like the weird thing is that like he can afford to do that. You know what I mean?
He really
Like,
can.
why doesn't he see that? Because my big, if I had one criticism of Klopp when he was Liverpool manager, is that I felt he would sometimes pick based on legacy and based
Yeah.
on name, and a bit of, like if he has a lot of history with a player, he'll maybe
Mm,
give them a bit more. Whereas Slot was like, super ruthless, and it was like purely based on performance, and it was so
exactly.
refreshing.
It was.
It was so refreshing when he came in, and but I wonder. My only thing that I think of is, if there's a few times last year, and I don't know if we've said it before, but where anytime Liverpool played a morsel of exciting attacking football, and they'd be like, "Well, Jurgen Klopp's the heartbeat of Jurgen Klopp is still alive in this team,"
Yeah.
and
The
I feel
spirit,
like
yeah.
Slot, like, there's a few times where he's like, "I like to play attacking football too." Yeah, and I wonder
Oh
if
yeah,
he's
right.
if he's just gone, so like, okay, well, I've won the league, now I'll really show him, and
My football,
I'll
yeah. The
buy
slotty
all these
slot.
players, put them in at the same time. Like, I'll buy wing backs, even though we don't traditionally play wing backs,
Mm.
and like, just it's so at odds with his style of last year. Whereas now we're like, let's load up five attackers
Yeah,
after
yeah.
70 minutes.
Big
So I
conflict.
just wonder, if he has a little thing about, like, I'll show them attacking football. whereas it may not be working out the way he planned.
A lot of people are saying like he's really arrogant and up himself. Like we called him the shiny one, right? But maybe he's like so shiny that his bench and his staff are afraid to make any contributions because you don't see them. You don't see them in action. And people are even like joking that Johnny Heitinger must have been the one giving the halftime team talks, when he was still at Liverpool, and that's why we turned it around. But he's obviously flopped at Ajax as well. And going back to Jurgen Klopp as well, what one thing I couldn't like, I love Jurgen Klopp, right? Gave us
Yeah.
back our pride. But one thing I could not stand is, contrary to popular belief, he never played youngsters unless he absolutely had to play them, right? And then my biggest example of this is if he ever drops Wijnaldum or he ever drops
Mm,
Henderson or Fabinho,
yeah.
even if we're winning 3-0, the first substitute is Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson. They'll come on, and the youngsters just sit on the bench like
I
twiddling their
know.
thumbs and fingers.
Yeah, exactly. So, they've all got their flaws, but yeah, but then do you know what? I don't like again, it was fine last actually, no, it wasn't fine last year. And
Mm.
I don't want this to turn into a slot bashing because I'm very much like happy to let him be
Yeah,
the
give him a
one
chance to turn it
to
around.
because
Mm,
again, like who are you getting? All these calls of slot out, and
mm.
who are we getting? Like Zidane or
I can't speak English.
Gerard.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, so I just don't see it.
Here's the thing, like,
Yeah.
even though we bashed Slot, and if we look at this weekend, Man United lost to 10-man Everton, and Manchester City lost to Newcastle, albeit controversially. They got battered. Newcastle are in horrendous form, even though, their Volta Made, Volta God is miles better than Isak narrative. Like, everyone's playing crap except Arsenal, who are grinding out these results.
That's what makes it even more as a Liverpool fan. That's what makes it even more annoying that we're tripping over ourselves
Yeah.
because Arsenal just have this clear path now to
Mm,
the title. City also don't know what they're doing. I don't have much stock in Chelsea
mm.
being lasting that
The
long
distance.
to keep
Mm.
an actual title charge. So I kind of think Arsenal are just going to walk it this year.
It kind of is by default, right? And right, strange as it sounds, and I don't want to discredit Slott's first season, but it's
Mm.
almost like the other teams also imploded last season as well. And we were just trundling along with our 1-0s, and we'll bang the
Yeah,
3 points. All right, you guys do what you do. We had a dip as well, but everyone
yeah,
else was just so inconsistent. They could never, capitalize
yeah.
or leverage our losses either.
Yeah, that's it. It's a weird thing. And just the last thing on Slot as well is like I wouldn't even mind as much. Do you remember last year when they we'd won the league and
Mm.
he went to Dubai or Ibiza
Oh
or something
yeah,
like that, and the players went
that's
to
on
Dubai.
tour.
And I did think at the time, I was like, I don't want to wreck the vibes because everyone's enjoying this. We finally
Mm.
won the league. I don't want to be negative, but like it seemed odd to me that he was gone. He was
Yeah.
gone mid-season, and then this. It wasn't this international break, the last international break,
Mm.
where he's on holiday again, and it's
Living it large.
just I just thought, okay, like, if there was ever a time for you to say, you know what, maybe I'll just stick around and try and figure this out. But I just love the idea of him like sipping daiquiris on a beach while
Being on a
everyone's
bender, proper
while
bender.
while the training ground's on fire or something, and he's just chilling. But yeah, it leaves the door wide open for Arsenal to crack on and just saunter to the title. Really, like they don't need to have to
Yeah, yeah.
do much else.
Like, they just got bodies, they got physicality, they're
Mm,
overloaded with, like, class defenders, they can hot swap them in and out with Mosquera, with Hincapié and whatever, and it's just the
yeah,
opposition fans now have this image. It's almost Brendan Rodgers-esque. Like, I wouldn't put it past Slot that you're one or the other, right? You're either the type when you walk in your mansion, you have that big shiny picture of yourself that you look at. I can imagine Slot being in
I'll
that
be
Brendan
honest.
Rodgers camp.
I can imagine Sloth having a giant sloth portrait
Yeah.
in his house. I can really imagine that.
Oh my days! Oh my
I
days!
could
And
see it.
like, getting bantered by Newcastle and Man United and all these wannabe top four consistent clubs because they have the potential to get there, right? But what do you reckon? Voltemada is obviously massively outshining Isak. Everyone's laughing at us, calling him a flop.
Yeah.
But at the end of the careers, how do you see it? Do you think what Voltemada will have a better career at Newcastle than Isak at Liverpool?
Ooh. And how old is Voltemade?
I want to put him at
Is it
25 years old. I'll look it up.
25? And yeah. I honestly, do you know, at the
23,
minute,
23.
23.
23.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you know, arguably Voltemade. will have a better run. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's hard to tell like what it'll be like in 5 years, but currently we are not set up to get the best out of Isak, or
Exactly.
Liverpool are not set up to get the best out of
We don't even
Isak,
give him the
and
ball. We don't even give him the
they
ball.
just don't give it to him. Like that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Voltemade just seems to, pardon the pun, slot right into Newcastle,
Mm.
and has just hit the ground running. And if he keeps taking penalties like that penalty he
Mm,
took a couple of weeks ago, which I still look at to this day, and I'm like, how does he like kicks it down into the
mm.
ground and it somehow flies up into the net? I don't know, but. I might go Voltemade if he's based on the fact that he's young,
Mm.
and just at the minute, all I can go is from what I'm seeing, and I think he is working with the team a lot better, or the team is working with him a lot better. What do you think?
Indeed. Indeed. The funny thing is, right, Voltemada, when he answered, "What's the best stadium?" I don't know if you saw this interview. "What's the best stadium in the Premier League?" He said Anfield. "Who's your
Anfield.
favorite player of all time in the Premier League?" Steven Gerrard. "Who's the best German player right now?" Florian Wirtz. He was straight up. He absolutely was straight up in all those things. So he might have a good career at Newcastle, which might end up us overpaying Newcastle to get Voltemada.
So it's very conceivable that we could have. I'm not saying I'm regretting getting Isak at all, because I think
Mm,
he will be great for us once we can figure out a
how
good
to use them.
system
Yeah,
around
yeah.
him. But it seems like Voltemade would have considered a move to Anfield then, if that,
Yeah, saying that,
you know.
saying that lightly. Yes, yes, indeed,
But
indeed.
I don't know. I don't know how well, you probably know better than me. I don't know how well he'd be set up to slot into a Liverpool team. But he, it's funny because Newcastle were so like, it was like, if you think you're getting Isak, you dream on. And it's like, and also we're gonna get this other guy Ekatike as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like I don't know how much of that was bravado between the clubs, or because I doubt the plan for Liverpool, and I'm going to try and not always bring it back to Liverpool, but
Mm.
I doubt the plan for Liverpool was to get Ekatike and Isak in the same window. Maybe it was. I don't know, but it seemed like the Isak one was a bit of a luxury, and it's like, okay, he's available. He wants to come here. Of course, we're going to get him. Um, but I don't know. I don't know if that would have been the original plan. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's long-term planning and opportunistic, right? So let's say, for example, Isak was a dream striker of Arne Slot, which would be absolutely strange now that he doesn't even get the ball to him or build a system for it. But Isak was the dream signing. And then you have the opportunistic Ekitike would like to come to Liverpool. Newcastle are close to agreeing a deal. Man United are interested in him as well. We could do the deal. And obviously with Diogo Jota's passing, right? That's free out. Lucho Diaz, Nunez, I think we're always going. Jota would have been staying, but that's free out. So we took the punt to get Isak in, knowing that he's a class Premier League proven striker. Ekitike might take some time to settle. Ekitike has taken no time to settle. He's been, absolute balls to walls on fire. But we've got two strikers in. We've lost a prominent left winger, only real left winger, I would say, not an inside forward. And yeah, we're kind of lopsided with Jota's lost as well. Because I think Jota would have really been there to kind of, been that pressing striker, that utility striker, that pseudo
Yeah,
playmaker up front as well. So I,
yeah.
I do think, we were opportunistic to get them. Let's get them and figure out how to use them. But Stock cannot figure out how to use them. But
No,
speaking
and
speaking of which,
and
right, like
yeah.
in terms of figuring out how to use them, are you surprised with that Chelsea team, right? They signed billions of youngsters, Brazilian youngsters and Wonderkids, and somehow they're finding their way there at second, just
I
enough.
know. This shouldn't work. They should
Mm,
be toiling for years after their transfer policy and these 8-year contracts, and
yeah.
like having a squad of 45 players and all this other stuff. Like that, like I'm a little annoyed that it's working so well for them as a Liverpool
It's
fan.
crazy,
Be-
selling hotels for
Because
themselves and all that malarkey.
yeah, because like they do seem to kind of be getting it together, and it must just be like obviously Maresca's having a big
Mm.
impact on that. But yeah, they're there and they keep winning, and I am surprised that it's working out, and even they're doing it without Cole Palmer
Yeah,
for a lot of this season as well, which is even more surprising because if you remember last year, or
on fire.
was it even last year, he was the guy, and he's been asked questions about like his team and
Mm.
like you're obviously the best player on the team. How do you feel playing with these mugs? And he would
Yeah,
always
yeah,
be
yeah.
the one to
And
be
he's like,
like,
"What? They're
he's like,
good,
what?
mate.
He's like,
I'm good
what?
at."
No, they're all right. Um,
championships.
So, whereas now it's just it's flipped now. He's not even there and they're playing well. So yeah, it's very strange.
Did you read that? Did you read that news this week where he's out with like a broken toe or stubbed toe because apparently he was like playing FIFA or something. He got a call, and according to Kukureya, he done himself in. So what was he doing? Needed to go to the bathroom. Need to go for number two or what? I don't know. He stubbed his toe.
Because but that's the funny thing is like he was specifically because he was already kind of recovering from a groin injury, wasn't he?
Yeah,
And what I found funny was that they specifically said, I was like, okay, we're not going to try and rehab your sore groin.
yeah.
You go home and rest, and that's the best way to get you back. So we're not even going to bother this. Just wait till it's healed and come back. And then, like, there's something about home injuries that I just find hilarious. When players get injured from home injuries, I feel like David James had one back in the day as well.
He
He dropped
must have
something
done.
on his foot or
Yeah,
something, or there was something like that. But with Cole Palmer, I'm trying to work out, okay, because he broke his toe at home, so he must have like we've all stubbed our toe, but like
yeah.
to break it, he must have been running full clip, or I like I don't know what he was doing, but
It's
that
crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Like I don't know what. Like there's mixed reports whether it's a broken toe, whether it's a stubbed toe, or whatever. But like one of the craziest ones, there was this Argentinian player called Ever Banega at Valencia. Great,
yeah,
like deep lying playmaker. He ran over his own foot with his car or something and crushed his foot.
his own foot with his own
his
car.
own foot. Like how can you run over? Like, he must have left the brakes off or something. And do you remember our player Fabio Aurelio? Fabio Aurelio,
Uh, Fabio
left back.
Aurelio, what did he do?
He was playing football in the garden with his two kids, and he injured him something. He fractured something or dislocated or something. I can't remember.
No.
But he done himself in the garden.
Oh
Made of
my
glass.
God. Maybe the wheel over the toe is just a case of left the handbrake off. Like
Mm,
I've never had a crash. Well, that's not quite true, but I've never really had a crash in my car. The
mm.
worst thing that I've done was only last year, and that I got out of the car and I left my handbrake off, and it rolled down and crashed into someone else's car, and
Ouch.
I just got a call at the door. It's like, is that your car there? It's after rolling a bit down the hill. I was like, oh my God.
Down the hill.
Oh my God, like, thank God there was no one there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so now I have a bit of a complex that every time this is my process now. Every time I get out of the car, I get out of the car, I
Yeah.
walk away, I take 3 steps, I walk back, I check the handbrake, and then I get on with my day. It's like this, and sometimes I'll be sitting here on the couch, like watching TV, and I'm like, I have to
Mhm.
check the handbrake. So it's
Yes,
given me a
yes.
bit of a complex. But I have never had it literally run over my own
Oh,
body
foot.
part. Uh, but with Cole Palmer, I just think I just think how funny that must be to have to go to the team and be like, I broke my toe.
Broke my toe, mates. Ain't good. That what you do, mate? I was
Yeah,
playing FIFA. I need to go to the look.
yeah,
Oi.
you know, it's like it's like trying to kick the TV or something as the cross is coming in. I don't know, but
Oh my
um,
days, oh my days. Speaking of car accidents, I've been quite fortunate. I've never had a road accident or car accident as well, but I have had two huge mishaps where I've hit something on the back because first time ever I had parking sensors. So I did a new job back in the day, financial software consultant, like, and they gave me a company car. And on the day the company car arrived, right, I was like, this is nice. We've got reverse parking sensors. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there. It's gone from green to amber, boom, hit this kind of bollard just underneath. I was like, it's amber, it's not red yet. Why am I hitting the bollard? And it didn't sense it. It didn't realize that. Right?
oh, that's
Day
the
one on
problem.
the company car, I got to tell them that I've already wrecked it. And then like the same thing happened in Japan as well. We have this like snazzy box K car, and I go to the local bread shop. They do curry pan, which is like curry bread and all this kind of stuff. I'm reversing out to get onto the road, and this little tree just above the exhaust pipe. The parking sensors didn't realize it again, and bang, straight into that little tree, and then in the back of the car. And that parking sensors absolutely done me up. They never warned me of anything. I was going
But
slowly,
that
really
but
slowly.
that's the problem, isn't it? That you tend to then just depend on the parking sensors,
Mm.
and like because I used to be just constantly like, whereas now, like, I'm just like, I look in the mirror, like the sensor will tell me. But sometimes because my car is, it's not the newest car,
Yeah.
and sometimes it takes like 30 seconds or something from when I turn the car on for the
Mhm.
sensors to activate. So if I'm pulling out my drive and I'm like, I should hear sensors by now, like then you're so close to being like, oh, but yeah, not had the best luck with cars.
Class, class. I like that. I like that. And speaking of like Cole Palmer, right, and the future of Wonder Kids and all this good stuff, right? So many players, right? Talented players. You think they're the next big thing, and then I'd absolutely flop. They can't get a career for themselves. They've been given bad advice, or they've been up themselves. Like was it Bobby Duncan, Gerard's cousin, and Endrick at Real Madrid, who thinks he's all that, injures Kanate, and then is like shipped off to is it Leon or somewhere else because he's not getting the service either. Who do you think would definitely make it out of the newest cream of the crop, and who do you think are destined for the flop?
It's funny, I was gonna say Hendrick, but I don't know if he's still classed as a wonder kid.
I think he's
Um,
young. He's very young, isn't he?
he doesn't look young. Like, I know he is young, but if you also told me that he's like 35, I would also be like, yeah,
He's
that
19.
looks about right.
He
I don't know what it is. He looks
looks
like
old.
he's been in the game for about 20 years.
He's like
Um,
Yakubu. Yakubu was apparently like 10 years older than his passport says. That's what people were saying back in the day.
oh really?
The
He
yak.
looks
Released the yak.
yeah. Um, I don't like it sounds so like obviously Lamine Yamal when you think Wonder
Mm.
Kid, you think him, and he is good, and I'm kind of annoyed that he's good. I don't know why. There's something there's something about him that I don't know. I don't
He's
know
a
that I
playboy.
don't.
He's a real big playboy. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
a little bit. Um, in terms of who will flop though, I'd love it if one of Arsenal's youngsters flopped, but I don't see that happening either.
Mm.
Um, what do you think? Like, give me some of your picks and refresh my
Yeah,
memory.
indeed, indeed. So some like promising one could Zaire Emery at PSG is like absolute class, but he never gets a game because he can't get ahead of João Neves, can't get ahead of Vitinha, for example. Unfortunately, Real Madrid have a lot of wonder kids, Mastuo, Nano, or something like that,
Yeah,
and Ardegula, very very good players. Marc Bernal is going to be the new Busquets at Barcelona, I think. So there's this guy called the Cat at Anderlecht, who's a really good midfielder.
yeah,
So these are the ones that I think will do good things. But like Delap at Chelsea, has he even scored a goal? Has he scored like a goal? I think he's like of that prototype of the Solanke, of the Watkins prototype, where they're
yeah.
like, oh, he's gonna be good, he's young, he's English, he's gonna do good things. I don't see it. I don't see
I
anything
don't see
good
it. I don't see it.
for
Since
top
he
for
came to
striker.
Chelsea, I don't see it at all. I just there's something missing. There's something missing
Mm,
about him. I don't quite know what it is. Um,
indeed,
and
indeed.
I'm looking and like because when I think of like ones from the past, and a lot of it would probably be Liverpool based, but like when I think of say Jordan Ive,
Oh yeah,
um, and
mental
to
goal.
be fair, like he's been well documented of having some mental health issues. But what I
Mm,
like about him now is that while his career path didn't take the path that a lot of people would expect. He seems to
yeah,
just be doing it for the love of the game now. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah. That's it.
I like the fact that he's not, kind of like an almost like an Andy Carroll. Like I don't care
Andy
who
Carroll,
I'm playing for. I'll play for a French fourth division team, and I'll play every week, and I'll bang in the
Hanno
goals,
Chopala has payment.
and I'll be the big fish, and I'll just
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
playing football. Like it's kind of like if I'm playing FIFA or FC, whatever it's called. And I'm like, I keep telling myself, I'm like, okay, if I'm playing the computer, I'll just put it on world
Mm,
class, and then when I lose my fifth game in a row, I'm like, I'm just gonna go professional and just enjoy, and I'll win 7-1, and I'll just enjoy my time here playing people. That's what I feel like a lot of I feel like a lot more, like for want of a better word, failed wonder kids could
yeah.
do because I feel like a lot of them they kind of have it in their head of like, no, I should be here or I should be playing for this and I should
Mm,
be playing this many times, and you kind of just lose the love of the game. So I like to see players like Ibe and a few of these others just showing
enjoying
up
himself.
somewhere. You're like, what's he doing there? And actually just enjoying playing for the love of the game. I love it.
Exactly, exactly. And speaking of what are they doing there, right? There's a lot of career moves that you would not expect, like Jerome Sinclair, Liverpool wonder kid. He's got
Yeah.
his fried chicken shop franchise, so he's doing good things
Does
there. I
he?
think there's what's it called? Aryan Dazu at Wigan. He's become like an official detective, like a policeman, a detective. He's a proper detective. Do you remember Thomas Gravison? Thomas Gravison
Yeah.
at Everton and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Professional
What's he
poker
doing?
player, professional poker player.
No way.
Um, he's doing yeah, the golden ball, he's doing good. Tim Wiese, German goalkeeper, is a professional wrestler, so he's got like absolutely hench.
No way.
Some proper weird ones, right?
Yeah.
Tino Asprilla. Do you remember Tino Asprilla for
Of
Newcastle?
course.
Yep, he
Yeah.
was selling the old flavored condoms.
Did I see a thing? Did I
Pele's
see a thing?
obviously Viagra, Mr. Viagra.
But did I see a thing with Espria that like he? Now I don't know if I dreamt this, and this could be libelous. Did he
Yeah.
open fire at one point, like with a gun in a crowded area or something?
I
Not
heard
at
this.
people.
Yeah.
Did
Hmm.
I don't know. I really should have researched that, but I feel
Yeah,
like he was. But also it's totally believable that,
it
that
is believable.
that he would do
You say that, and
that.
it's completely believable. Oh my
Yeah,
days, yeah.
yeah. But I
Chasing the
wonder.
dreams, like Freddie Adu as the bouncer, Daniel Agger as the tattoo artist. They're kind of it's what they're made for.
Well, let me ask you this though: who do you think out of the current crop of, say, Premier League big men, who could make a transition into wrestling, into WWE? You know,
Proper
like
hard
who?
nuts, right?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. You, my instinct is to go with the taller players, but
Mm. Or
I don't know.
hench.
Would Dan Byrne be? I don't know. He might have the personality. He might have the mic skills to pull it off.
English
You
bully,
know.
the typical English bully. But I'm looking more at the kind of South America, like Murillo at Nottingham Forest, right? Joining one
Yeah.
of those, Mexican luchador as the
Yeah.
enforcer, as a hard nut.
Yeah. 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 I could see that as well. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, Voltimad even could be
Yeah,
with the right
yeah, the blonde
attire.
angel. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I define myself in daydreaming when I'm in work or something like that. Of trying to think, trying to pit, you know, who would win in a Hunger Games situation between all the Premier League managers. And I'm looking through, and this is when I should be working, and I'm just
Yes,
like
yes.
no, I don't think
Granted.
he'd. Yeah, it's like no, I don't think he'd get the better of Deutsch on that one. Like
Oh,
these are the
ginger nuts.
the this guy. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting right off topic again.
I love it. That's what I do. I spend most of my day. My mind wanders off. I digress to all different directions. And speaking of which, right, you know that some of the Liverpool lads would do well, like Arne Slot on the deserted island. He's got that charm, that cheeky. He'd be negotiating with the
Yeah.
other tactical minds, get them all on board, and he'll probably sucker punch them from behind or something.
Yeah, he would get whatever tribe is living on the island. He would sweet talk his way into the tribe, infiltrate the tribe, and then convince the tribe that they should make him the leader, and he would be, as you so eloquently say, the shiny one, and uh, yeah,
He could
I
wear the
could
robe.
totally see
He could
that
pull off the robe and the crown.
You could. There's something about that bald head that you could just pull off any sort of robe, cape, any sort of crazy attire. It just works.
I think so. I think so. Speaking of like back to the pro wrestling analogy, right? Soberslai, I could imagine him as a kind of narcissistic, slimy, sleazy. He's
He'd be a
fun to
heel
watch.
for sure. Yeah, I couldn't see him as a baby face. He'd be a heel.
Yeah.
He'd be a bad guy for sure.
Mm.
And I could almost kind of see him in like a early Triple H sort of like I'm better than you
And I
sort
know
of.
it, and you know
You
it.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that sort of posh aristocrat or something like that. Um, I'm trying to think who would be like if you could have someone like McAllister. I feel
Mm.
like McAllister would also he'd be kind of like I don't know how much you watched wrestling back in the day. I could
Love
kind
me
of
some
see
wrestling.
McAllister being part of like Shane McMahon's Mean Street Posse.
The Mean Street
Do
Posse,
you
Pete
remember
Gas,
them?
Rodney
Do
Green.
you remember them?
Adama Traore is a natural for it, right? He's Shelton Benjamin, the athletic specimen of a man with no charisma.
Doing moonsaults off the top of the goal or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that'd be him.
We've gone off on a massive tangent here, but speaking of back to like the Premier League, the fact that all these teams, right? There's certain teams that just absolutely you're going to have a nasty day against, like Crystal Palace. We never have an easy game against Palace. Nottingham
Yeah.
Forest have the voodoo curse over us at the moment.
Yes.
Why is it that these little teams have come up and are just absolutely laying the smackdown and spanking all the top lads?
I don't like that's what I was only saying the other day. It's like it doesn't seem to matter who Forest's manager is or Palace's manager. They just
Mm,
have this hoodoo over us. Um I think it's a lot of it is just down to the fact that the quad like this is going to sound a bit boring because I'm talking actual football stuff here, but it's it seems just like they've all these like lesser teams, for want of a
Yeah.
better word, they're not really anymore, have just everyone's got quality. Whereas previously, up until maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, like the bad teams were the bad teams, the good teams were the good teams, and you kind of knew what you were going to get. Whereas now it's like anyone can hurt you on a counter attack. And I kind
Mm.
of feel that's if Liverpool are having a day or a season where they're not at it, then it just takes a long ball up or it takes a quick counter attack or whatever, and they've got enough to just say, okay, well, score one, two, three. But like this is the other thing that I found when I was watching the the Forest game was like, and I don't like to admit this, but like a sick part of me when when Liverpool went 3-0 down and Forest were breaking for a fourth,
Mm.
I was kind of in a weird way hoping that we concede a fourth. And I know that sounds like you're like, what? But like, I kind of want us to get to rock bottom quicker,
Yeah, yeah.
so we
I
can
I
go
do
back up
understand where
again.
you're coming from. I
You
do
know?
completely understand where you're coming from, right? It's almost that mentality. If you can't be the best, you might as well be the worst of the worst and like
Yeah,
shockingly crap. Forget the like silver spoon or whatever. You want like that wooden plastic spoon and just
yeah,
get if you're gonna get bollocked, then 5-0, 6-0, just put it past us and
yeah.
let's laugh about
Yeah,
it.
let's hit rock bottom now and not have it be like I'd almost rather to lose 4-0 than to lose 3-1 or something like that,
Yeah.
because I don't want you don't want at this stage as a Liverpool fan, you don't want any PR
It's
spin.
hope that
You
kills you.
don't want
Yeah,
any,
yeah.
yeah, it's not good enough, we're gonna have to do it on the pitch, and like the usual
Mm,
sort of stuff. Like you just want it to be like, okay, this is absolute rock bottom, and it's not necessarily advocating getting rid of the manager, but it's
reality check.
change everything.
Reality.
Maybe
Yeah.
try changing up the formations and the lineup, and
Yeah,
maybe try other people on the in the attacking positions. I don't know if Gakpo should maybe sit the next couple of plays
Mm,
out, and Salah, maybe we'll see at AFCON anyway. But
yeah.
you know
Mm.
what I mean? So I don't know. Like it just
Change it
seems
up.
like with all these teams now, there's a reason why we've lost 8 and 11, that they can just hurt us like
It's
repeatedly.
true, and do you know what's even more, like, annoying, right? It's always that 1 in 10, that mercurial talent who only turns up, like, once every 5 or 6 or 10 matches or scores 1 in 8, right? Ismaila Sarr does nothing against anybody and then scores every single match against Liverpool, and then you got Callum
Yeah,
Hudson-Odoi who can't hit bundle with a banjo and scores a wonder goal against Liverpool. Then you got Bryan Mbeumo whose shots hit the first man and goes over the bar, goes wide, scores against Liverpool. Then you got, like, the 1 in 10 Harry Maguire up front last-ditch tactic, scores against Liverpool. It's always this, the jammy
it's
dodgers who get like one goal a season
oh,
or one.
it's always the inconsistent. It's like like the players who play well against Liverpool are the players who, for the opposition team, their fans are going like, yeah, he's quality, he's just not
Scratching their
consistent
heads with
enough,
that.
or he just he'll give you that performance 1 out of every 7 games, and like, oh, if only he could just be. Whereas like against Liverpool, absolute world beater. Whoever's in goal as well, absolute like masterclass of a
Yeah,
goalkeeping performance. So that's the other really frustrating thing. It's like, no, he's shite. Like, don't let him
yeah.
do that to us. Not him.
I know, I know. And like everything's like conspiring against us. It's like a perfect storm, right? Like that VAR decision to disallow our equalizer, Van Dijk against Manchester City, because Robertson made an active movement away from the ball, but an
Yeah.
active movement. And then apparently the referees are correcting themselves now that they've reviewed the footage this week. Let's allow every goal in that situation because that was the right thing to do, even though it's against
What?
Liverpool as well.
So did they say that? Did they say they wanted that they've made a mistake and they want to now award those sort of goals?
I think it was Mike Dean. Mike Dean says something like, "You can't have it both ways. Like you were crying about this being ruled out and it should have been on. Okay, the referees have learned, so from now on they're letting it. It's just unfortunate for you that you are the recipient of it. So it's like, oh,
That's so
oh boy,
frustrating. That's so frustrating. I was like, yes, technically that is the right decision, but why do you have to not get there at our expense? It's Yeah, that's
And do you
incredibly
remember? Do you
frustrating.
remember when Doku kung fu kicked McAllister in the
Yeah,
chest, right? And all
yeah,
these other fouls, like where we don't get the red card, and sometimes we do get the red card with the foot rolling over the ball, Curtis Jones or McAllister
yeah,
kind of thing, right? And now it's in probably in a Premier League referee's handbook that this is a clear red example, and this is a clear not clear red example. In fact, when
yeah.
it actually happens, the opposite happened. It's just you're using it as images now.
Yeah, like it's very but plus it seems like there's always like a flavor of the month ref
Yeah.
issue. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Mm,
remember for a good 3 4 weeks, like with that Curtis Jones stepping over the ball, um he like that was I feel like those decisions were being looked at like every game where
mm.
or it was then it was players going like that to the ref and oh you can't do that and then remember like Dallo got like 2 yellows really
Oh,
quick
yeah.
or whatever which was hilarious but like so it's kind of like I feel like there's always like this like there's a hot topic this month of like the refs are really looking out for this month. It's almost like they
Mm,
need like a referee newsletter and just be like, just so you know, this is the stuff that the refs are really being told to look out for now. All that other stuff that was a big issue 6 months ago, you can do that again. They've forgotten about that. But this don't
exactly.
go like this if a
Yes.
decision goes your way, which is also incredibly inconsistent because everyone does that. Odegaard for Arsenal is the worst for that. Like
Basketball
proper
player,
just
yeah.
screaming everything, and nothing gets done. It's like, sorry, people got sent out for that yesterday.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so there's that. Again, I've gone off on a tangent here, but it does seem like and like it seems so basic, obviously, to say, the VAR is not fit for purpose. The only part of it that really annoys me is um if it's something's not clear and obvious, and then
Mm,
they say, actually, hang on, like any sort of, if there's a handball that's like on the line of the box or outside the box and the ref gives it one way, like if you could argue like, well, that's 50-50,
mm,
then that should be how it's left. It's the I think that's why I had such an issue with the Van Dyke goal. uh, it
mm.
was it was that, but it was also because when you hear the audio, you hear your man straight away being like Robertson, Robertson, Robertson,
Yeah.
Robertson to
I
line
know.
of vision.
Can't wait to rule it out.
Yeah, where it's just like, can't you just like leave it and if it is offside, it'll be caught, and I don't know. That was
The
one that I
re-refereeing
was.
of the game, I know what you mean. Like the thing that really drives me bonkers nuts, right? And I do have a solution, an entertaining solution that I would love to see is when they go and send the referee to do the monitor check and all these kind of things, it does seem kind of personal or biased on what team, right? Because let's say, for example, Lucho Diaz goes in and scores against Tottenham, like, and it goes to VAR.
Yeah,
They rule out straight away. No goal, no goal. Carry on, carry on. Whereas the other teams, they're like analyzing it, scrutinizing it, really going to detail before they make a decision. With Liverpool, it's like, no, no, he's offside, he's offside, he's definitely in line vision. Let's go, carry on, carry on.
yeah,
And they just want to like bypass it so easy. So what I would like to see, right? And some people have mentioned it already, is like an appeal or the managers either once or twice, maybe once, but if you get it correct, you get it back again. Say, I want a review. I want you to have a proper review of it, and I want to listen to the audio as you're reviewing it, right? And I
yes,
want opportunity to explain the case, whether it's a 10-second, 20-second snippet, and then you can hear them like debating and all that kind of thing, like
yeah,
this game called Phoenix Wright, kind of law or whatever. You go in there, goes, that's not offside. Preston's for it. McAllister, 1066, not 1066, but 2025, foot over. You said no, that's no. Go on, deal with it. Watch it. And he's like, okay, you're right. No goal or goal or whatever, right? So you
yeah.
get one appeal to make them really, really look at it because it's a match defining moment. If you get it wrong, you're out of luck. You can't appeal anything against. You get it right,
Yes.
you get your appeal back.
That's. I mean, it should be, and like, and I think I would far more prefer that than just like, no, didn't want to award it like with that Robertson one where it was super quick, ruled out. Uh, and the thing as well, like you touched on there, just let us hear the
Yeah.
audio in real time. Like that's the biggest red flag for me. Is like,
Mhm.
why do we only get like four carefully curated audio clips a month
Howard
after the
Webb.
incident when everyone's settled down? And I've noticed, I think they actually did again this month, but for the last 6 months, do you remember like mic'd up, it would be a big thing,
Mm.
it'd be all over Twitter, you'd be on Sky Sports, like here's the reason why, blah blah blah. And they just slowly took it off, and it's like it is still on the Sky Sports website. if you really scroll for
Yeah.
it, they'll still have mic'd up there, but they were
Mm.
very careful about not like, here's the latest mic'd up. It was like it's over there if you want
Yeah, yeah,
if you
they've
want
kind
to
of
see
put
it.
on the back burner. They've kind of put on the back burner. And what I
Yeah.
really hated about that show as well, right? It like Howard Webb and all these like retired referees, they think they're some kind of superstars. They think like celebrities. They're coming in with this authority marching on her. This is the rules. This is how I would have interpreted. Now, if I was in this position, they're like they think they're people of stature and of character, and their opinions really matter when they are public enemy number one because they have no consistency, massive bias, and probably being bought off.
But that's the yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like real like government speak. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Where it's like, like of course we're going to look at that and we're gonna and we might have made a different decision, but the like it's this roundabout way of talking. Like just tell us in
mm,
plain English as well. Like why didn't you give that? Do you agree with that? Yes. No. Why do you agree with that? And
mhm.
and again the whole thing of like just let us hear it. Like why can't we hear it as it's happening, like in rugby or whatever like that? And the only reason is because they don't have the confidence that they're going to get it right every time. And I'm
Yeah,
sure I would love to hear some of the ones that didn't make it to mic'd up.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That'll
Because
be
it's
fun.
just
Uncut, uncensored.
there's bound to be like some absolute howlers in there. And yeah, like you said, with Howard Webb and such, like generally, before all this debacle of VAR, I actually quite liked Howard Webb, and I kind of thought like,
Mm.
like okay, he's probably one of the better refs and stuff like that. Now he's retired and he's head of this thing, but yeah, it is like that sense of importance of like this really matters. So, and to be fair, I know Michael Owen gets a lot of stick and a
Mm.
lot of it rightly so. But he he could probably go in a bit harder actually thinking about it. And I at least like the fact that he'll say, I thought that was a goal all day.
Mm.
Very strongly believe why isn't it? And he'll sometimes challenge a little bit. I don't like if anything, I don't know if adding a third person to the mix would make it all better. But I'd like to see
Independent invigilator.
yeah, just something, but because I think they can be let off the hook a bit too much. It's like okay, there's a little 2 minute explanation, and that's it. Like the Doku boots of McAllister, and not just Liverpool ones. Like there's been loads of like mad ones. I only saw. Let me ask you this because I only saw a thing last night in the United Everton game
Yeah.
where we were talking about like Everton got a player sent off for
Hey,
yeah,
backhand
for
slap.
fighting with his own teammate, which is it. Now I only just seen the highlight, but it seemed harsh. I don't know what you thought of it, but it was like
So
because there was no
mm,
like and
no, no,
diving and
argy
all
bargy,
this.
yeah, yeah.
It was just a little bit. You shut up, uh,
Put the
So
elbow in the
yeah,
face. Pass touch.
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, like that's the
But
thing. It's interpretation of law, right? So violent conduct, it says it's either got to be against an opponent or violent conduct to anybody. And he's taken discretion to say that was a slap and against your own player and sent him on. But Ruben Amorim at the end said, "I wish my players would have fought each other because at least we would have shown some fight within us or something like that." And I was like,
yeah,
fair play, lad.
that's
And I love
fair
the
enough.
fact that Ruben interim Amorim is there because he riles up the Man United fan base like no one else. I'm digressing just away from the slap because I think referees just take an opportunity to write the headlines and all these
Yeah,
kind of things. But what I'd
yeah,
really like is there's got to be some way that placates fans to say, all right, I don't agree with it, but I can accept it. Like in injury time, right? Where every referee makes up when he wants to blow up the whistle. There's
yeah,
got to be something like he literally says at the end of 90 minutes, 5 minutes uninterrupted or something. And then everybody, okay, 5 minutes from there. And then maybe a counter, a timer somewhere. And when it goes up for
yeah.
thrown, stop it. And then
Just
when
stop
it
it.
comes on, throw it. So everyone's like 10, 9,
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
And then match up. Blow the fucking whistle. We got the timer, right? It's not
I
like,
would
oh,
love
down the
that.
counter attack.
I
It's
would
like
love that. Leave it up to instead of leaving it to the ref's discretion, just have it. What a great like end to the game, especially if you're winning and be like five,
yeah.
four, you know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Making it's entertainment at the end of the day. It's about money, right? And interactive. But somehow they're just so keen on protecting the referees, so keen on protecting their feelings or decisions, or not
And
re-refereeing the
like
game, or you're going to eliminate referees if you've got automated technology. And referees get paid a absolute metric ton. They get like
do they
200,000 quid.
a year? Whoa. I mean, and like that's like, I mean that's great. That's crazy. But they also then they get the help from VAR, which doesn't really help. But that's so they've got additional sort of aids, and then they've got all the other refs uh,
Yes,
having their
linesmen
backs
and
and
the
all
fourth
that.
official.
But like the thing for me is that, like, it's not as fun as it is before all of this. So can we just get rid of it, please? And I know that's such a simplistic, and I hear people saying, and I know this is such basic, like, oh, VAR's crap, but
Yeah,
it's one of these where it's like every time people say, "Oh, get rid of it," and then you hear people saying, "Oh, well, they've invested too much now; they can't get rid of it." It's like you can
you
just
can,
get
you can, you actually.
just switch it off, and let's just go back to. It's kind of like, not to bring wrestling back into it, but it's kind of like, do you remember, like, when something would happen, like the bad guy'd win, he'd cheat or something, and you'd have Mick Foley or Shawn Michaels as the commissioner, and they'd come
Mm.
out and they'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 we are
Restart the
gonna
match.
restart this match." It's kind of like VAR is like that. It's like
Mhm.
the commissioner, only it's an unwelcome commissioner, and always seems to be in favor of the team that you don't want it to favor.
It
But
would be so biased though, because I don't know if you saw that happen in WCW, right? So it was like Halloween Havoc or something. Sting was finally meant to do one over on Hollywood Hogan, but Hogan's backstage powers, he pinned Sting legitimately. It was a slow count by the heel referee Nick Patrick. So Sting really got beat and pinned, and then Bret Hart comes out and goes, "This ain't happening again. Restart the match," even though he legitimately got pinned.
that's it. But you know what's terrible is now I find that I'm anytime there's a goal against, like, say, Liverpool, and I'm just
Yeah,
waiting, and I'm like, they'll find something. Whereas like when we score and it's ruled out, it's like, oh, they always find something. They're always looking for
yeah.
something. And then it's totally like, once we concede, I'm like, well, surely there was some sort of encroachment there
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's an issue.
You
It's an
know?
issue amongst itself, and it's unclear. And,
Yeah.
and
But
like some of the rule makers, like Arsene Wenger's gone completely Looney Tunes, right? Do you know what he said? He wants to redo the offside rule. Do you know what he said about the offside rule?
what did he say?
So it's not he wants it. So it's not when you're like a toe or a fingernail in front of behind the line and you're offside. He wants it the other way around. So if any of your body part is touching the end part of your defender, so like Haaland could be like massively in
Right.
front of you and just his shoulders leaning back or something, and he'd
But
be
just,
onside.
yeah.
Yeah. Or I'll pull. He can pull Van Dyke with him, pull Van Dyke with him, and then
Yeah.
when the ball's coming, he'll push Van Dyke away and off he goes.
You could literally just hang on to the players, yeah, and just shove them
Yeah,
and go.
exactly. You got a head start and you're pushing it back.
Hang
Arsenal's
on,
Il
mate, I've
Professore.
got you, see it.
Exactly. With
Yeah.
a million goal added ball overtime. Oh my days.
Yeah,
Oh,
Wenger's
man.
kind of, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like he's come up with a few crazy
Mm.
schemes over the last few years. And what's his position now? He's like he's a big wig in, is it like FIFA or UEFA or
Yeah,
something like that?
FIFA. Yeah, it's one of those. One of those. He's working
Yeah,
with those
yeah.
organizations to try to change things up, and he's a fan of more games and what he's like a corporate shield nowadays. So trying to stay relevant, maybe.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot that could be improved, but yeah, that's for another day's work, I'm sure.
Indeed. Yeah. But like literally though, it is a relief to just be able to bring all of the weekly hot snippets of football, Premier League, Liverpool, and everything else into one chat. It's just like properly refreshing, right? Because now you can let loose with everything on your mind.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I'm glad to be doing this. Oh,
Maybe
that's
too
my
glad.
do- that's my dog pottering around. Um, but yeah, like I'm glad to be able to talk general football with you
Mm.
as well, because there's so much that happens during the week that I'm kind of like, oh, I'd love to, like, give my 2 cents on that. And yeah, but I'm always kind of like, you know what, I'm just sticking to Liverpool. So it's nice to be able to branch out like this and to chat about Chelsea or whoever else, or ridiculous red cards, or comparing footballers to wrestlers
Yeah.
and things like this. Yeah, it's fun. I like it. So yeah, I'm glad that we can do this.
It's very good format, and I'm sure everyone will pick up. Everyone, smash a like. We're trying to get the footies on up and running, so make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, help us beat the YouTube algorithm. Andy, my man, always a pleasure.
So, legend. I will see you next week.
Absolutely.